This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. The global divide between the global north and the global south developed due to historical and economic factors, including number one, colonialism. European powers exploited resources and labor from colonies in the global south, enriching the north while underdeveloping the south. Number two, industrial revolution. The north industrialized early, leading to wealth and technological advancement, while the south remained largely agrarian and underdeveloped. Number three, economic dependency. Post-colonial economies in the South relied on exporting raw materials and importing goods, creating economic independence on the North. Number four, neo-colonialism. Even after decolonialization, many global South countries remain economically dependent on the North through trade, investment, and multinational corporations. Lastly, number five, globalization and inequality. The integration into global markets has benefited the North more, and technological and financial inequalities persist, reinforcing the divide. And in my conclusion, the global divide developed through a complex interplay of historical exploitation, unequal economic structures, and ongoing global power dynamics. Addressing this divide requires efforts to promote fair trade, debt relief, sustainable development, and greater representation of global South countries in international decision-making processes.
So why did the global divides the North and the South? The global divide between the North and South is closely connected to the dynamics of globalization. As colonialism and the Industrial Revolution established the foundations for inequality between the global North and South, globalization, accelerating in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, has both reinforced and complicated these divides. Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of economies, cultures, and political systems across the world. While it has brought economic growth and technological advancements to many parts of the global South, the benefits of globalization have been unevenly distributed. Wealthier industrialized nations in the global North, already positioned with strong economies and advanced infrastructure, were better equipped to take advantage of global markets, technology, and capital flows. In contrast, many countries in the global South, still grappling with the legacies of colonialism and weaker economic structures, found themselves vulnerable to global economic shifts, such as volatility of commodity prices and dependency on foreign investment. Moreover, globalization has often favored multinational corporations and industries based in the global North, allowing them to extend their influence into the global South. This has led to a continuation of unequal economic relationships where resources and labor from the South are utilized to benefit the economies of the North. While globalization has provided opportunities for development and integration to the global economy for some nations in the South, it has also exacerbated inequalities as countries with less economic and political power struggle to compete on equal footing in a globalized world. In essence, globalization has both intensified the divide between the global north and south and created new opportunities for economic and social change. However, the historical legacy of colonialism and the imbalances in global trade and power continue to shape the contours of this divide, making it a persistent feature of our globalized world.
First, what is Third World? The term Third World originally referred to countries that were not aligned with either the Western Bloc, led by the United States and its NATO allies, or the Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union, during the Cold War. Over time, it has evolved to describe nations with lower economic development, poorer infrastructure, and lower standards of living. However, Third World is now considered outdated and potentially pejorative. More accurate and respectful terms include developing countries, global south, or low-income countries, depending on the context. Second is, what is global south? It is used to refer to countries and regions in Africa, Latin America, Asia, and Oceania that are generally less economically developed and have lower incomes compared to the more affluent countries of the global north. It is a more nuanced and less pejorative term than third world, focusing on the socio-economic and political dimensions rather than the Cold War era alignments. The Global South often faces challenges such as economic inequality, political instability, and development issues, but it is also encompasses a diverse range of cultures, economies, and experiences. And lastly, what is the difference between Third World and Global South? Third World originally referred to countries outside the Cold War Western and Eastern blocs, eventually coming to denote those with lower economic development, but it is now considered outdated and pejorative. In contrast, Global South emerged as a more contemporary term to describe countries with shared experiences of colonialism and ongoing economic challenges. Focusing on socio-economic realities rather than historical alignments, the Global South term is preferred for its respectfulness and relevance in current global
Global
discussions.
South. The term Global South generally refers to countries and regions that are considered less economically developed, and we see less economically developed, it means they have lower income levels, less industrialization of your advancement in infrastructure and technology compared to more developed countries. Global South are often located in Southern Hemisphere, and this includes Africa, Latin America, Asia, and Oceania. Let us know what is the difference between Third World and Global South. The terms Global South and Third World are often used interchangeably, but they have distinct connotation and historical context. The Third World. The term Third World emerged during the Cold War era to categorize countries not aligned with either the Western Bloc is First World, or the Eastern Bloc are Second World. The First World referred to capitalized, industrialized countries, while the Second World comprised socialized states. Initially, it is a neutral term, but it eventually became associated with economic underdevelopment, poverty, and political instability. Over time, it has been criticized for its pejorative connotations and oversimplification of complex socio-economic realities. While the Global South arose in the late 20th and early 21st centuries as a more nuanced and politically conscious alternative to Third World. It reflects a broader understanding of the geopolitical and socio-economic dynamics beyond Cold War divisions. Global South emphasized the historical and ongoing impact of colonization and imperialism.
highlighting the shared experience of countries in Africa, Latin America, Asia, and Oceania. It focuses on socioeconomic inequalities and the global power imbalance that continue to affect these regions.
The Global South includes countries that are less economically developed. These countries are often found in Africa, Latin America, and parts of West Asia and Oceania. These nations generally have lower incomes and face more challenges in development compared to the wealthier nation of the global north, which includes countries like the United States, Canada, and many in Europe. The term helps us understand global economic and social inequalities and highlights the differences in development between regions around the world. By recognizing these differences, we can work towards solutions that promote fairness and support development in the Global South.
The Third World concept significantly influenced globalization by shaping how Latin American countries were integrated into the global economy and international relations. Economic dependency. By focusing on economic development through foreign aid and investments, the concept increased these countries' dependence on wealthier nations, making their economic vulnerable to global market fluctuations. Second, unequal power dynamic. The label reinforced a global hierarchy with the development countries dictating the rules of international trade and finance, often to the detriment of third world countries like those in Latin America. Third, Western development models. Latin American countries were pressured to adopt Western-style development models through institutions like the IMF and World Bank. These policies often led to economic instability and social inequality, despite deeper integration into the global economy. Fourth, cultural influence. The Third World concept also facilitated the spread of Western culture, sometimes eroding local traditions in favor of globalized Western norms. And fifth, resistance and change. Over time, the limitations of Third World framework led to resistance in Latin America and the development of alternative concepts like the Global South, which sought a fairer and more equitable approach to globalization. In summary, while the Third World concept helped integrate Latin America into the global economy, it often did so in ways that perpetuated deficiency and inequality, sparking movement for a more just global order.